quite proud of this. We're going to make a collection, attempt to make some labels. Wasn't necessarily my plan, just to switch it up and keep it interesting. So cute, a little bit scary. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Megan and I'm the owner of a small business called Fauna, and in today's video I'm gonna be doing a Valentine's Day collection after saying I probably wouldn't be doing. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I mostly make and sell scrunchies and macrame, but I do a range of different things. I film the behind the scenes and everything and pop it on YouTube for you all to see. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, I'd love it if you could stick around and hit that subscribe button. But the aim of 2025, and definitely at the start of the year, for me was to just chill out and take it easy, be a lot slower in the sense of not be chaotic, and overall just have a bit of a slower year. So even though I do have a few collections planned throughout the year, I'm not putting loads of pressure on myself to create constant collections, loads of new items and stuff. However, I was having a browse online the other day at fabrics and I saw this one and I could not resist. So I did pick it up and thought this would actually be quite a cute fabric for Valentine's Day. But it's just a baby pink fabric and it's got little cherries on them and the cherries have smiley faces on them. So I had to grab it. It's quite a wide print, so it'll still look really cute with scrunchies, but I don't think it'll work for wristlets. So I don't know if you can see behind me, this is my wristlets. Some of these down here aren't finished, but I've actually just been spending some time today tidying up the studio and it's still not finished. I'm sick of hearing me say it too, guys, don't worry, for those of you who aren't new here. I did say that the studio makeover was going to be a long-term project. Like all these here are empty, most of this here is temporary, but we were getting quite messy today. I had a market this weekend, so I wanted to tidy today. It wasn't necessarily my plan because I really wanted to get stuck into creating some of this collection, but I did the adult thing. I was very smart and thought, no, the space needs to be tidy first before we start a project because I'll end up creating mess as always. But I do macrame wristlets as well as fabric ones, so just ignore the ones that aren't finished that are on here. But here's one of my fabric wristlets. This is what they look like when they're finished, and as you can see they're only yay big, so I think the pattern is going to be slightly too big for the finished width. It wouldn't look bad if the cherries were lined up perfectly, because if you can see there's some here. If I lay the wristlet over the top, we could potentially get a strip out of it, but I'd have to cut it in a very particular way because it all gets folded in on itself and stuff. So although I was considering doing wristlets at first, when it did arrive and I saw the print, I thought it might not work as wristlets. It's definitely going to be mini scrunchies, and I am considering trying to make some bags out of it. It's not very often I make my tote bags because they do take a lot of time, because I add a line into them, I do French seams and stuff, so they do take me quite a long time. But I also haven't made any in a while, and I think this would look so cute as tote bags, and I am hoping to broaden my sewing skills. And a lot of things I do is very basic, and if I do create something fun and new with this, it's still going to be quite basic. But I also kind of want to make something and it be a bit of a fun challenge, because I want to get back into creating stuff for fun as well. Not that I don't love making the things I make. So I have also picked up some plain red fabric as well, because I think a little red ruffle on the bag would look really cute and like girly and romantic or whatnot. And even though I'm not majorly into Valentine's Day, I think that would be quite a cute collection. So I hadn't planned on doing one, but we're going to wing it. We're going to make a collection, because why not? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I had a great time. But something else that will also be going live kind of with the collection is this design on the glass can cups. When I saw this design, I wanted to have this one, so I've got it as a tester. We'll add it to the shopper at the same time because it's really cute. Bows are quite in at the minute, and it's another pink girly sort of thing. So not a huge collection and not something that's actually 100% planned out yet. So I'm going to quickly show you the studio space because I'm quite proud of how tidy it is. You're probably going to look at this now and be like, that's a mess, but I'm really happy with it. So let me quickly show you that, and then I'm going to crack on with cutting some fabric, and then we'll see if I've got time to sew some of it up because it's quite late on in the day and I'll have to go to work soon. So let me show you the studio first. So the scrunchie wall is looking very, very empty, and it's because it's all there. Like I said, I had a market this weekend. Just ignore my tripod. And I did make up a bunch of stock for it, so I'm considering going through it all before I put it back up, because I really wanted to put it all away. But I'm thinking of doing a big stock count, finishing up a bunch of these scrunchies and stuff, and then changing all the stock on the website and stuff when I potentially launch these items. So I do need to count all that. So I've kept them in there for now just to keep it tidy. Then once I've counted it all, it's all going to go back on the scrunchie wall. That box at the bottom is market stuff, so just ignore that. My little floaty desk that moves here, there and everywhere. I love this thing. It's incredible. It's adjustable, goes up and down. It was a gift from my wonderful family member, Izzy. Izzy, you're a legend. I will never stop thanking you for this. And my chair. And then moving you over to this side. Some of you are probably sick of seeing this by now, but this is part of the studio that is not finished yet. I do have a rough idea and a rough plan to finish this space off here. Everything else is kind of temporary. Even though it looks messy, it's tidy to me. So we've got my little metal drawers down here. It's looking a lot better than it did. And then finally we have this space, which is where I've just been stood. My macrame is very wonky up there, and I do need to start putting some of this fabric here on boards and going through it and cutting some of it. This grid wall, work in progress. We're just going to ignore that mess. And the fact that there's tools and boxes and stuff on the windowsill, again, work in progress, ignore it. Island is like 90% done and it looks very messy, I know. The irony of me showing you how tidy my office is and most of it being messy, but it's usable, it's pretty much there. There's just a few final touches that I do need to do to it, like figure out if I want to paint it or add vinyl onto it. I'm not really sure yet, but the island floats about, and then that's the rest of the space there. So very tidy for me, and just proof. Floor space, lots of it. I've also hoovered, so there shouldn't be any fuzzies currently on the floor. Quite proud of this. So now that that's out of the way, I think I'm going to cut some of this because I know how much is there, but I'm also not very good at pre-planning and maths. This is the perfect size for me to get mini scrunchies out of it, and then the strip that's like left over would be the perfect length for wristlets. So if wristlets happen, it's not the end of the world. I just don't know if they will look that great with the print being as big as it is. So I am just winging this. I'm gonna have a quick faff around with it, measure it up a little bit, decide how many scrunchies I want to get out of it, because the issue with my tote bags is they need a lot of fabric. And I did pick up a few meters of this, however, I also don't want to just have like one tote bag out of it. I want to be able to utilize it, but I'm also not stressing too much. Does any of this make sense? I'm going to shut up because I'm going to end up waffling on. I'll pop on some headphones, listen to a spooky podcast, and we'll start cutting this up and we will see what this collection ends up looking like, which is kind of exciting not having a plan, but also a little bit scary. So I've got pre-cut strips here for mini scrunchies. I think I went with about 12. Yeah, 12 there. So very limited edition collection if this goes ahead and goes well. So what I'm going to do, quickly grab my sewing machine and I'm going to sew these in half, and I'm going to add my labels in, and hopefully I can get at least that done before I need to go to work. I gotta make this quick because I'm gonna have to rush off to work, but so cute. So we've got one finished up. It still needs like the finishing seam doing on it, but I think it looks really, really cute. There's something about red and pink together that just work. I've done 4 scrunchie tubes so far, and then obviously the 7 left over, so they've got the labels in but nothing else. So I'm gonna have to go to work. Fingers crossed I can actually do a bit more of this tonight because I've got quite a lot to do when I get home from work this evening, but I will do my best to try and squeeze in a little bit more work. Can you see how red my ears are on camera? I've just taken my headphones off and it just instantly started burning. But I really like how these are looking, so I'm glad we've at least got scrunchies for the collection. So worst case scenario, we can just launch these as well as the cups. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. Hello guys, I just ran up the stairs and I could just feel the bun on my head like ugh. So why does only part of my hair curl and then the rest doesn't when it's in a bun? But I'm back from work and I've got dinner on, I've fed the cats. My vlog's just gone live because I upload at 7:30, well I try to when my internet actually works, on a Wednesday, which is GMT time I believe in the UK. But what I'm going to do very, very quickly is do a little bit of sewing before it gets too late. Hello loves, so it's obviously the next day now. I've done quite a few bits and bobs here and there, so I had to cut up a bunch of elastic, burn the edges of those and stuff to stop them fraying. I've done a lot of computer work as well, so loads of different things, but I'm gonna crack on with sewing up the rest of the scrunchies because so far I've got 3 left. Here they all are. I love them so much, they're so cute, look at them. I'm really happy with how they've turned out, so yeah, I think 3 left. I could have finished these off last night, but I decided not to because I've been getting some clips for like short form content and stuff because I need to potentially start advertising this collection if it's going to happen. But because it was late and it was really, really dark, the clips are usable, they're just not great. So I did put together a little reel this morning just as like a little sneak peek teaser sort of situation with the date of Saturday the 7th of Feb. So I've put a date on it. That doesn't give me a lot of time to, 1, get this collection finished if I'm going to do it, and 2, it's not much time between the release date and Valentine's Day, so it's not it's not necessarily going to be a Valentine's Day collection, but if I can get it done it'll give the right vibes for the right time of year, if that makes sense. So worst case scenario, I do a few cups and I do the scrunchies because I can probably get all these done at least today. I have already started photographing them as well, which is great. I know I've not done the finishing seams on those ones, but it's fine because you can't usually tell anyway. And I've realised this morning while I've been working away that I'm starting to overthink what I want to do with the rest of the fabric, and I don't want this for this collection. I don't want any stress, I don't want to start putting pressure on myself. So as soon as these scrunchies are done, I think I might either finish off some cups or I might do something else. I'm not going to say what it is yet because I don't know if it's going to work, and then maybe in that time I might come up with what I 100% want to do with the rest of the fabric. I think because I've not actually sat down, opened up the fabric again and remeasured it to see what I could get out of it. So I could really do with thinking and planning and designing what I want to make if I am going to make something else, just to keep it fun and not start like stressing over it, because that's not the point, and I'm enjoying making this so far. So let's get these finished, put my headphones on as usual, and then we will go from there. And because it's daylight I can probably get a few more short form clips again today, but my phone is running out of memory, which isn't great. But I'm going to sew over there today, I think, on my little move about desk thing, just to switch it up and keep it interesting. So the scrunchies are all done. I'm really loving how they're looking. So whether or not we end up with a collection of items or not, at least we'll be launching Valentine's Day scrunchies. So, well, Valentine's Day scrunchies. Really happy, they're so cute. What I think I'm gonna do is attempt to make some labels, and I don't know if this is gonna work. It's completely fine if it doesn't, but I know a lot of pouches and book sleeves and things are kind of like a trend at the minute, and I love the look of canvas and cotton labels. I think they're really, really cute, and they just finish off certain products really nicely. And I was planning on getting some made at some point, but if I do create something fun with this fabric, I feel like the little cotton labels would look really, really cute, but they're not the cheapest to buy. They're not the easiest to find in the UK either. I have found some, but they're either really expensive or they're not going to come in time. And I've been thinking of different ways that I could potentially make my own. Considering I don't have a printer, this is probably not a good idea, but there's loads of tutorials on how you can make your own labels if you just pop it on YouTube. But I've just had a look, and I've got some sort of cottony canvasy fabric here already, which are kind of like the neutrally colour. They're slightly different shades, like barely, because they're different types of fabric. I think this is more of a cotton canvas and this is more of just cotton. There you go, you can see a little bit better. And I have just had a look in my vinyl collection, and sadly the things that I have aren't the colour I need. I've got some iron-on vinyl pre-cut out logos here. They are all stuck together, but these are from ages ago. I made these like 2 years ago, I think. So I was thinking if I had these and they were black, to potentially make my own little fabric labels. Don't know if that's going to be a good idea to do it with vinyl. I know you can get DTF transfers, which is a really good option, or if you've got a printer you could probably just print some on some iron-on transfer paper, I think, but I don't have a printer. I'm kind of considering just experimenting just for the fun of it, to be creative and see if I can just make some labels. I have no idea where my vinyl cutter is actually. So what I'm considering doing, first of all checking to see I've got some iron-on vinyl in black, maybe having a little play around when I have some lunch on my iPad or my laptop or whatever on Canva to see if I would prefer the labels to look a certain way, so if it's better to have them square so it'd be like Fauna and then Rose underneath, or if I want them to be long like my design up there, so Fauna and then Rose like them I've just shown you, if I want any borders on there. And then I'm considering using some iron-on interfacing just to make them a little bit sturdier, but mostly to hopefully stop the edges from fraying. You can get like laminating things for fabric. I have no idea what I'm talking about, clearly. This is all new to me. It's stuff that when I've been looking at labels and stuff I've very briefly looked at, but if I did a bit more research I could probably find out how to do it quite well. I'm just trying to think of what I currently have and seeing if I can do it with what I have instead of buying stuff, creating more waste and whatnot. But I have loads of iron-on interfacing that was remnants from a fabric shop from ages ago. I'm considering maybe using some of this. I don't think it'll stop the fabric from fraying, but it might, I don't know, add a bit of sturdiness and structure to the labels. It might not be essential, I'm not sure, so I'm considering just ironing on some to a like a patch and trying to just make some. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we shall see. So let me check if I've got some vinyl first, because if I don't, I'm not gonna be able to do this anyway. So I've got my logo, decided to go this way. I've got some scrap vinyl good to go. Ignore how gross my cutting mat is. I've just quickly cleaned out the needle because I've not used this in a while, so hopefully it will work. I have flipped the image because you have to, well, I don't know if you have to every time or depending on what brand you use, but the one I'm using you've got to like image reverse it, so I think I've done it right, fingers crossed. So I'm going to cut one of them, do a little tester, we'll see if it works, and while that's doing that, we are going to pack Suzanne's order, so thank you so much, lovely. So Suzanne's order is packaged and ready to go. I completely forgot I've got errands to run, and obviously I need to go to the post office as well, so I need to leave in like 5 minutes. But I did cut out my logo. It's already weeded and everything, and I think I've done it right. We will find out now when I iron it. And then I was playing about with what size I think the label should be, and I think until I make one, I'm not going to know. So this is going to be a tester as to whether or not this is going to be the right size. I've also then cut some interfacing for the back, so I'm very quickly going to iron some of this on, and then hopefully if I've got time we will try and iron the vinyl on. So let's see if it's going to work. had to sit down because I've just absolutely decked it trying to see what was up with Cleo. I heard her crying and my mum instinct just kicked in and I like ran and just rolled my ankle, which wouldn't have been too bad, but I wear these huge stompers. My Crocs are like 3 times normal platforms and I just went down. Oh, so I hope that's okay. I don't have time for a broken ankle right now, but anyway, how cute does this look? I mean, it's quite a lot of effort considering, and I definitely don't need all this excess, but that's so cute. I kind of like the size. It is quite big, but until it's on a product, I wouldn't know if that was like the right size, but it's more than doable with the stuff that I've got. Just that method would take a while because you've got to weed out all the vinyl, add the interfacing, cut all the fabric down, but it is doable, and I think that's really, really cute. So my first little logo patch, it looks pretty good in my opinion. So I've left a bit of a border around it. Okay, so it could be sewn onto something. So yeah, glad I've done that. But before I'm late, I'm gonna have to go. But that was fun and exciting, just something a little bit different. Yeah, I wanted to share that with you, and I will catch you guys later on and we'll see if we can make anything else. So I am actually going to leave this video here, and I'm going to do it in a couple of parts, I think. So you'll have to let me know what you think of the collection so far. I know we've only got the scrunchies and the cups, but I really hope that you guys like it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I am going to head off, so thank you so much for watching. If you could give it a massive thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, leave some cherry emojis to match the collection. And if you haven't subscribed, I would really, really appreciate it if you could consider subscribing. Check out all the links down below in the description. So the website, the social media, my buy me a coffee page for my family memberships if you want to subscribe for extra content. So speaking of which, a huge thank you to all my incredible family members. I couldn't do any of it without you. I love you all so much, so thank you so much for all your support. But apart from that, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 2.